Are you good? All right, it's episode 9, the Cody Porter Sports Show. It is December 29th at the time of recording. Who knows when it'll come out? Probably won't come out tonight. But it's episode number 9, and I'm with my first ever guest, Mr. Sam Chester. And we're going to go ahead and get right into things, starting off with the college football Semi-Finals.
Cody, what do you think is going to happen in the college football semifinals? Are you just not going to let me talk this episode?
Well, I'm the host, so it kind of makes sense for me to lead into everything. Do you want who I think will just win both games and go to it, or...
No, let's start with Washington, Texas. Let's break this down game at a time.
Washington, Texas. Texas 4-point favorites. Over under set at 62.5, which is a lot higher than the other game. The other game is 44 or 45. I've been a fan of Washington all year. I picked them to beat Oregon both times, and those games were a lot of fun to watch. Both I think Oregon is kind of underrated because they lost twice, but both to Washington. I really like Washington. I think the Pac-12 is a little bit better than the Big 12. I think the bottom dwellers of the Pac-12 are better than the bottom dwellers of the Big 12.
That's probably sure. Because some of those teams are pretty atrocious this year.
And so I've always liked Washington. Texas is kind of, more of the blue blood. I think their lines are probably, just bigger, stronger, more naturally talented, the offensive, defensive lines. But
you're talking Washington?
Texas.
Okay, I was about to say.
No, but when it comes to offense, Washington is just, they're always one play away. The next play could always be a touchdown for Washington. Yeah. Whereas Texas doesn't really play like that.
They do not.
Michael Penix Jr. just throws the ball.
Yeah, he does.
Just jacks it downfield.
He's really good at it.
And that's why I think
And when he does it, he runs around and he makes it happen himself.
Yeah. I think Washington is just so explosive to, at this point right now, I'm leaning Washington. I love them +4. But their explosivity makes me lean towards them.
What I have written down over here is that Washington +150 money line is legitimately handing out money.
Yeah, I mean, you said the same thing about Oklahoma yesterday.
Yes. A freshman quarterback throwing 4 picks and 2 fumbles on top, 6 turnovers in a game. You shouldn't win. We did not deserve to win that game. Now, we played an immaculate second quarter.
Just one quarter?
Yeah, one quarter. I think we scored 21 points, and our defense stopped them on every drive. I think they maybe got 3 first downs.
Did you score after the second quarter?
Yes, one more time in the third quarter. And then we were both dry.
Because I looked, and it started off, Arizona was up by 13, and then Oklahoma was up by 11, and then I checked the score this morning, and they lost by 18.
Yeah. Arizona came out quick, capitalizing on 2 incredibly unfortunate turnovers. And that was like 3 minutes into the game. They were already up 10-0. And so I was like, it's going to be a long night as an Oklahoma fan. And then pretty quickly into the second quarter, Oklahoma just got hot. We stopped turning over the ball for a couple minutes, and we drove down the field 3 straight times and scored. Yeah. It was pretty awesome. But then the third and fourth quarter weren't much better. And our inexperience and new O-line and new OC couldn't really capitalize.
A lot of news.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in that game last night. But we're better. We'll still be a top 6 team in the SEC next year.
Okay, top 6. Okay, so who's the 6 team in the SEC this year? Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, LSU. That's top 4 for sure. Definitely not better than any of those teams. After that, it probably goes A&M, or in Tennessee, then A&M.
Let's see. Let's pull up the SECsports.com.
Auburn's at the bottom. Florida's at the bottom. Vandy's at the bottom. Arkansas's at the bottom.
It's being slow.
Kentucky. Yeah, you'll probably be better than Kentucky next year, I'd say.
I would hope so.
That's a good guess.
Kentucky, Vandy, Florida are my 3 guarantees.
Florida will definitely be better than Oklahoma next year.
There's no chance.
Why would you guarantee Florida over Arkansas? Arkansas sucks.
I think if Florida and Arkansas played today, Arkansas would win.
Well, Arkansas won in the regular season, but Arkansas is also losing a lot more in the portal. And Florida's a better recruiting class.
I think Arkansas's got that dog in them.
They only won 4 games this season.
I don't care. They were 4 outstanding wins. This doesn't say
I think one of those was like University of Central Arkansas.
Did they beat Arkansas State?
No, Oklahoma beat Arkansas State.
Yeah, they did.
77-0 or something.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So Georgia, Missouri,
to 11.
Tennessee.
No, that's just the East.
Yeah. We'll keep scrolling. It's the bottom
Well,
of the West.
it's gonna give me rankings right here.
But we could have seen it very easily what they were ranked at.
Well, it's too late now. It's loading.
Well, we both like Washington. I do think that Washington will have to rely on those big plays. Yeah, I told you you could come to
This
this
is
other
not what I
thing.
wanted.
Washington will have to rely on big plays because Texas' defense is much better than Washington's. They both have great offenses. So it'll just depend on whether Michael Penix makes the plays or he doesn't. If he does, I think Washington wins by a score.
Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss,
Oh, that's not Ole Miss.
LSU.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Definitely not going to be better than any of those.
And then it's Tennessee and Texas A&M are both at 4 and 4.
You'd be better than them. So you could be the 6th team.
That's top 6.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think we will be. I don't actually have the schedule in front of me, but if we play either LSU, Ole Miss, or Missouri next year, we're beating them.
The Florida schedule is very difficult. The last 5 teams they play on their schedule all finished the regular season like the top 16 or
That's
something.
tough. It's not good.
That is not good. We can move on. Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. Like I said, much lower line as far as over/under. It's only 44.5. Michigan 2-point favorites, which I think is crazy.
I saw 1.5 this afternoon.
Because it's going down. Well, I think it started at 3 or 3.5 for Michigan.
Slowly been dropping.
Yeah. I mean, as a summary, probably the hardest person to beat in college football on a 1 month. A month to practice. Who's the last coach you want to play? It's Nick Saban.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with that. I think that not only is Alabama just a hard team to beat in the postseason, they also have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder coming into this game.
Yeah, a lot of people talking how they shouldn't be in it.
Should they be there? Should they not be there? I think the 2 teams that I would not want to face in this postseason are Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
Because
Georgia
that's terrifying.
Getting left out of the CFP after going back-to-back, losing 1 game in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Conference championship, I guess it means a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently not
for some conferences. Idiots. But yeah, the last guy I would want to play is Nick Saban. People talk about how they lost early on and they struggled to their non-conference like USF, but also that was 3 months ago. I don't see any problem with the Nick Saban that's had three whole months to get his team better from when they barely beat USF.
Yeah.
They beat the 2-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. They beat them. Regardless of if you struggled in week 2 to whoever, you beat the defending national champions. And, I mean, that's just got to be worth something. I think it's going to be a very opposite of the Texas-Washington game. Texas-Washington is going to be light up the scoreboard, big plays. Michigan-Alabama is going to be run the ball into the O-lineman for hopefully a yard.
Yeah, for hope, yeah.
And
maybe break one for 7 or 8 every now and then.
This one, I think the quarterbacks will have to make 1 or 2 big play action or 3rd and long plays to where whoever makes more of those is going to win the game because that's where it's going to be won. Because there's going to be a lot of ground and pound, hold the ball, run the clock down football.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing, the game is definitely going to be ground and pound. It's going to be one on the ground. And if I'm being honest, I imagine that our national champion is the winner of that game.
Yeah.
As much as I hate it, I think that that's probably what's going to end up happening. In an ideal world, this is what I wrote down. In an ideal world, Michigan would absolutely thwop Alabama in this game just to make the CFP committee look horrible, make the SEC look a little bit worse. I think they need, even with Oklahoma joining the SEC this year, I think that they need to take a step back. Like they are the best conference in college football, but chill, bro. It's not that big of a deal. So Michigan would absolutely rock Alabama, just 63 to 20. It would be hilarious with that blocked field extra point in there. That's the important part.
That's the last play of the game.
Yeah, it makes Nick Saban look bad. It makes Alabama look bad. It makes the CFP committee look bad, and it'll piss off Florida State even more, which I think is just funny at this point. And then on the other side, Washington would absolutely wreck Texas
Just
to
for
make Texas look bad.
Yeah.
Makes Oklahoma look a little bit better because we're the only other team that's beat them this year. And then in the national championship game, Washington makes Michigan look really bad, so that Michigan has to feel the pain from the season that they just cheated in. How are they still getting away with that? It doesn't make sense to me. And then they tried to play that whole victim role with Harbaugh, being like,
Also, for
Woe is
the
us.
first suspension, was it the first suspension, or one of the two suspensions, the school is the one that suspended him.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get upset at the school?
Yeah.
They're just protecting themselves.
yeah, they're like, hey, you maybe shouldn't have done that. And he's like, do what? And then everybody else is like, oh, free Harbaugh. And we're like, hold on. He's the bad guy here.
Yeah, I think that everyone was freaking out on Twitter just about how it should have been Florida State in front of Alabama, but no one was talking about how Michigan should have been left out because they cheated.
they didn't win some of those games.
Yeah. So I mean, valid point, I think, to think of. I would love, I think Alabama wins the national championship.
Yeah.
The team I would root for would be Washington. I would love to see Washington.
Yeah.
There's a team that I think they won a national championship 1960 something or 1980 something.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to the first CFP ever and lost by 30 to Alabama in the first round. Haven't been back since. And
If that happens again, it's not a good look.
but
Not
I
a good
mean,
look.
all the other teams really easy to hate, and
Yeah.
Washington pretty lovable. I'll root for them to win
Mm-hmm.
it all if they make it to the national championship. Now, if it's Texas and Alabama, I'm rooting for Alabama, and if it's Texas Michigan, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, if you're
Texas Michigan would suck.
Yeah, it would. It would really be sad. If you're a fan of betting, sports betting, I think that you have to be a Washington fan going in to the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
If they play well, which I think that they can,
They're
will
just
make
as
you,
good as all the teams.
they are just as good as the other three teams, and they will make you significantly more money because everybody is already counting them out.
Yeah, I mean, they're plus 150 money line on this one.
150.
If they played, I mean, regardless of who they play in the national championship, they'd probably be closer to 200, I think.
Yeah, I think that they would probably be 10-point underdogs going into
Massive.
the national champion.
Which would be crazy after beating Texas in the very first game when they,
Yeah,
I mean, other than their loss to Oklahoma, just blew out everybody.
yeah.
Let's see.
They had a good season. I think that they're still frauds. They didn't, besides the lucky early win at Alabama.
By 10?
But yeah, it was pure luck. We watched it together. It was just BS the whole way through. Besides that win, they don't really have that much quality on their resume.
But they have all the fandom and support.
Yeah,
That
just because they
will
have a
pump them
ton
up.
of money.
Well, that's what people.
It's-
That's going to make people think that they're better than they might be.
Yeah, it's just an ugly color too. Here's a hot take maybe. I think their QB room is greatly overrated.
Well, it means you just don't like Arch Manning, is what that sounds like, and you don't think Quinn Ewers should be in the NFL.
I
Those two
don't think
things.
Quinn Ewers will not make it in the NFL.
I think it's a pretty big blow that Malik Murphy left Texas.
yeah, that's
I think
true.
he's pretty good.
But I don't know. I have to see Arch Manning live up to the hype first.
Yeah, I think
I
he
was
should.
in the few snaps that he saw, I was pretty unimpressed.
Yeah, I
he
think
looked like a normal QB.
it's crazy that Quinn Ewers is returning, and Arch is gonna have to sit a whole nother year.
Yeah, that's
And
brutal.
especially if this kind of seems like with all their other players that are leaving, Texas's last hurrah with this team.
Yeah.
So if Quinn Ewers comes back and they're only an 8-win team or a 9-win team, every time he does anything poorly, everyone is going to be chanting for Arch Manning. And
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Whereas you could go out on top right now, leave, and it would
Or even just
help-
transfer.
Yeah, or it would help every party.
Yeah.
Him coming back and them doing anything less than going to the CFP is a failure for
And
everything.
Maybe he'll win the national championship with Texas and then be like, all right, I'm out. I'm gonna go somewhere else, and he just transfers because he knows he's not gonna make it.
That'd be crazy if a starting quarterback of
National
championship team transferred.
Somebody transferred off the Georgia team last year.
Well, I kind of mean the quarterback.
Sure.
I don't mean any team. Yeah, people
Sure.
transfer off.
I think it was like a starting safety or something like that. I could have my facts totally wrong, but I feel like I remember that.
But you never hear of quarterback would never do that. Well, it was crazy. I think it was crazy that Kyle McCord transferred from Ohio State. They
Yeah,
lost one
that's
game this
pretty
season.
wild.
He was a freshman starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And he transferred as an 11-game winner.
You have plenty of winning quarterbacks transfer out of their school. Everybody thinks that they can make more money somewhere else.
Yeah, well.
Just how it
So
goes.
it looks like Sam and I are both leading Washington versus Alabama. We can get into there's only a handful of bowl games really left this season. Before we get into the rest of the good ones, just brief looks. I want to mention what was it called? The Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando. Maybe the greatest bowl game of all time.
Good.
If you didn't see the Pop-Tart Bowl,
Mascot was crazy.
all the weeks before it, they just kept announcing that the Pop-Tart Bowl would have the world's first ever edible mascot. And at the end of the game, the Pop-Tart mascot went into like a cardboard toaster, and then he came out of the bottom edible, like he'd been cooked. And they're like the whole storyline is that the mascot of the
gosh.
Pop-Tart Bowl killed himself, and the winners ate his body. That's what happened.
I hadn't seen that. Have you seen all of? I knew that he had gotten eaten at the end, which I thought was funny.
He
hadn't
counted down.
Seen that
He
part.
counted them down as he was lowered. And I saw another thing on Twitter that said, as he was walking around, there's a guy on the field that said, "Hey, Pop-Tart man, am I allowed to eat Pop-Tarts in front of you?" And the Pop-Tart mascot walked over, took it out of his hand, and then fed it back to him. So I think the Pop-Tart mascot might be the greatest mascot in the history of mascots. You remember in NCAA 14, the mascot matchup?
Yeah, that was always
What
the
if they
best.
had the Pop-Tart? And what if you could just kill him?
Some of my favorite sports highlights are not the NCAA 14 mascot game, but when they have the live mascots play the kids
Oh, yeah.
on at halftime shows.
That's not a
and
video
stuff like
game,
that.
that's just-
I know. I said it's not a video game. That's my favorite.
It's your favorite, especially
when
grown men in costumes knock over children.
knock over children. That is
Yeah,
never
when you
not
first
funny.
said live, I thought you meant like alive animals versus children. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That might be a dark side of Twitter.
That would be crazy for sure.
So that was the Pop-Tart Bowl, which Kansas State won. It's good for the Big 12. Well, do you care about the Big 12? Have you ever cared about the Big 12?
I always hated it when people and I would have a pretty heated argument when people would call us the worst, not the worst, but the third best Power 5 conference.
That's not even close to the bottom. That's the middle.
Sure. But I remember freshman year of college, I was having an argument with one of my suite mates about the this was fall of 2018. Mm-hmm. So Oklahoma was pretty good that year. Mm-hmm. And he's a Michigan fan.
They went to the playoff that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the playoffs as an Oklahoma fan. It never goes well.
It's like they're like 0-3 or 0-4 and lose like 30 every time.
Yeah. It hasn't been. Well, no, we haven't lost by 30 every time. Georgia scored a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
In
That was to go to the semifinal. Or that was to go to the
That was
championship.
go to the championship game.
Yeah. I think that was 2018.
Yeah, it might have been.
I was in
No.
No, that was. Yeah, it was. Because I was in Atlanta watching that
Yeah,
game.
but when we got absolutely blown out by LSU,
Yeah.
that was just not a good look. that was pretty
Well,
embarrassing.
that was a Joe Burrow. I mean,
Yeah.
they blew everybody out.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
But no, I've never been the biggest Big 12 fan, as in loving all of the teams or rooting for a Big 12 team over somebody else. I'd normally just root for chaos when it's not Oklahoma. But I am a Big 12 advocate. Not a Big 12 fan, but a Big 12 advocate.
I think I feel that way. I very rarely will root for a team in a game purely if they're just in the SEC. Mm-hmm. But I will defend what the SEC is as the best conference.
Sure.
I will.
I will do the same thing next year.
Yeah. And I don't think any other conference does that.
Yeah.
No other conferences actually defend.
Yeah.
They're
the legitimacy of the best teams in that conference.
Yeah, because everyone knows the SEC is the best.
if you're an Alabama or a Georgia fan, if we're strictly talking college football, which I guess we are, as far as the best conference, because it's very different in basketball.
Yes.
If you're an Alabama or Georgia fan, it's very easy to say, "Oh yeah, the SEC is the best because we're in it."
Yeah.
But as a Florida or an Arkansas or even a Vandy, well, no, Vandy would want to claim it. But as a non-Vandy bad team in the SEC, still wanting to claim your conference as the best, Yeah.
Yeah. And it shows, I think more often than not, Louisville was supposed to be a really, really good team behind FSU and ACC, and then they lost by 20 to Kentucky. And Kentucky was the 7th, 8th, 9th ranked team in the SEC.
Yeah.
So I think it's very obvious. But moving on, New Year's 6 games, the 4 games other than the semifinal games. First, the Fiesta Bowl, Liberty and Oregon. This is just going to be a thrashing by Oregon.
I have a hot take here.
Okay,
I even wrote it down and I labeled it hot take on my notes.
Okay.
I think Liberty plays a close game here.
But you don't think they win?
No, I don't think that they will come out on top.
But I think it's a 20-point spread.
Yeah, if you are a betting man, I would cut that spread in half. I think I would take Liberty at plus 10.5.
Okay. So it's from 20. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It gets pretty good odds on FanDuel. I checked this afternoon.
So you can parlay the 2 money lines for the CFP, and you just take one of these picks, and you probably get a plus 700-800 parlay.
Yeah.
But we both like Oregon to win. I like them to just destroy Liberty. Next game, the same thing is going to happen. Georgia, Florida State. Florida State is just going to get ran through. They are going to get destroyed by Georgia. Every good player other than, I think, Kalen DeLoach, maybe one other corner, is out for Florida State.
Yeah. Injury,
the portal, opting out for the draft.
They know they're bad, and so they want out of the game.
The fact that the backup quarterback hit the transfer portal, leaving the third-string quarterback to play Georgia, is ridiculous.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That is your older brother throwing you in the middle of the bully circle.
Yeah. They played Louisville in the ACC title game with their third-string quarterback. Yeah. He threw for 88 yards. We saw Louisville give up 50 to USC 2 days ago. The quarterback is going to die against Georgia's defense.
They're going to run straight through.
There's only I think there's only 5 to 8 players on Georgia that are sitting out or transferring. It's almost 20 with Florida State.
Yeah.
And Georgia is the 2-time defending national champions.
Yeah, and then you also bring in the storyline of, Florida State thinks that they are better than Alabama and deserve to be in the CFP, and Georgia's like, bet.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia to cover 19.5. I think it's never good for the opponent when you see 19.5 and you think, oh yeah, that's probably a lock.
That's not a good look.
They just are going to win by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Florida State's defense will throw everything at them. Because the defense without Jordan Travis is the better side of the ball, clearly. Even with so many sit-outs. I think they're going to play a really good first 2-3 drives. Yeah. I think it could be 7-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But then I think it could be 28-0 at halftime.
Get thrashed in the second. Yeah.
If Florida State cover whatever the number is on the day of the game, it's only going up with everyone that opts out.
Certainly.
Whatever the number ends at game time, I will be shocked if Georgia doesn't cover that number.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Moving on, I think I'm going to say that this is the second best bowl game. Not the best. I'm not going in the direct order. I'm going to say Missouri, Ohio State. Ohio State, obviously, without their starting quarterback, transferring to Syracuse. Missouri is playing for everything right now. And Ohio State probably care a whole lot less about this game than Missouri does. Have more players sitting out. But it's also, you're Ohio State, you're the caliber. You have all the elite recruits, everything. And Missouri, they're good again for the first time since whenever.
Yeah.
And all their stars are playing. And they want this game really bad. And Ohio State doesn't want to get shown up by the SEC team because next year it's going to be really packed too.
Yeah.
It's the Big Ten in the SEC.
Yeah. It's Missouri is fighting for their life. They're fighting for their pride, and they're fighting to prove that they're not a bottom 3 SEC football team.
Right.
And that's never a spot you want to be. Vandy's held it down.
I mean, most people picked Missouri at the bottom. That's I think the second worst team in the SEC was what they were voted at this season.
Throw Vandy out the door. Everybody wanted Missouri. Everybody thought Missouri was going to be the bottom of the barrel in the SEC.
And they came
out swinging.
I mean, they lost by 7 to Georgia.
Yeah.
And if they win that game, and then they go to the SEC title game. But, yeah. I think
they also get beat by Alabama in that game.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot more on the line for Missouri, but I think Ohio State also, because of it being Missouri, don't want to lose to Missouri.
Yeah. Do those states touch?
Ohio, Missouri.
No,
No,
Indiana's in the way.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
Yeah. If they touched, it would be a better game. I don't know why.
I think every state that touches hit a rivalry.
They could.
I think of every state that California, there's like 6.
Well, I mean, Florida kind of does that.
Georgia.
And Alabama.
We play Alabama once every 4 years.
But you'd call them a rival when you play them. You'd really
I
want to
said on every SEC team but Vandy.
Okay, well, then you went into Georgia and said, oh, you're touching Georgia. We're going to be your rival, too.
I don't know. I don't think
That
every,
includes South Carolina.
Yeah, there's also plenty of states or teams that have no out-of-state rivalries, and they're just the in-state ones.
Yeah. That's lame.
I don't know. All right, I think the
I
next.
also have OSU to win that game. And to cover the spread.
I don't know what the spread is, but I like Missouri, SEC.
Oh, you weren't saying Ohio State's going to win?
No.
Really?
No, I think just Missouri. Their quarterback running back duo was probably one of the most underrated in the country. They're both playing. I'm pretty sure they're both returning too.
Yeah.
They played well against the Georgia defense.
Yeah.
They played well against the Alabama defense.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't think you're right.
McCord not playing quarterback, I think, makes a massive difference, and their team becomes much inferior stepping down.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a ton of reasoning. It's mostly vibes.
I think Missouri wins that one. I think it'll be a good game too. I don't know what the spread is. I didn't write that down, but
I didn't write it down either. I just said that they would cover.
regardless of whether it's 27 or 7.
Yeah.
I think then the next best game outside of the semifinals
CFP,
is the Peach Bowl. Ole Miss and Penn State. I think the biggest thing in Ole Miss's favor is that the game is in Atlanta. It's a lot easier drive than for Penn State or fly. They're not going to drive. But, Ole Miss was just dominated everything I see this year, and then they had to play their 2 big games, and they lost them pretty easily.
Yeah.
And then for Penn State, it's the same thing it is every single year. They always win their 10 games.
Same thing.
And they lose the 2 games that matter every single season.
Every year.
And I think these teams, I think Ole Miss is a better team. I think they win this game. But I think these are both just teams that are what ifs until you get to next year. You get to the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
With a 14 playoff, it's pretty much a lock. You'll get Ohio State, Alabama.
Yeah.
Every year, one of those 2.
Yeah.
With the 12 team, you kind of feel like that adds a lot of teams. That adds Georgia and Michigan. That might add Texas or USC in a few years. But it'll also add Ole Miss, Penn State. Always number 3s in the conference.
Yeah.
They are now, every year, they're going to get into the CFP.
Yeah, I really wish that Oklahoma had a year in the Big 12 where it was a 12-team playoff because we would have actually won a game.
Yeah, gotten your feet wet, got into the... it's crazy now that we're arguing over teams that have 0-1 losses getting the CFP, whereas in the 12-team era, there will be legit arguments for a 3-loss team to be in it. When they were in the...
Legit arguments.
The mind of the 4-team playoff, they weren't even thinking about the playoffs 5 weeks ago.
No, they weren't even in the New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what this battle will become. Ole Miss, Penn State are now the regulars in the CFP because they lose their 2 important games. But I like this matchup. I think it's going to be a good game. I like Ole Miss. I just think their offense is a lot better. Penn State's offense against Michigan and against Ohio State did nothing.
Penn State's favored in that game. Did you know that?
I did not. And
it's like Ole Miss's money line odds were like plus 120 earlier today.
So it's like a half point or a point favorite.
Yeah,
I like Ole Miss to win it. I think they're a better team. I think they had more challenges because Penn State, obviously, they won their 10 outside of those 2 and then didn't really have any competition.
Yeah, I also have Ole Miss to win.
So I have, and then New Year's 6, all of them. I got Alabama, Washington, Missouri, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Oregon by a lot. And you have the same semifinals, but you have Ohio State.
No, I have Washington, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Ohio State, Ole Miss, Georgia, Oregon, but Liberty to be within 11.
To be kept competitive. Well, that was 7 last time. Is it 11 now?
No, I said plus 10.5.
Okay.
Liberty plus 10.5.
Okay. So that's college football, and now we want to get into what we really know a lot about. I haven't talked. Yeah, I haven't.
The meat of the podcast.
I haven't really. Yeah, we got a bit long. I haven't done a podcast with college basketball yet.
We've had 3 viewers for so long.
Yeah, that's 3 steady viewers.
Every time I look, it's still 3, and it blows my mind
Well,
every time.
There's a lot of people coming and
in
leaving.
and out
Already talking.
for the audio.
I was already talking. It doesn't matter. Before we had to take a brief intermission. 16 seeds. I got Norfolk State, Oral Roberts. They're always really good. They beat Ohio State in the tournament a couple years ago. And then I got the 2 play-in games in the 16. I got Central Connecticut State.
Okay.
They're out of the Northeastern Conference, playing Lipscomb,
Yeah.
who's in the Atlantic Sun.
They didn't make, neither made my list.
Then I got Jackson State from the SWAC, Dion's old school.
Okay.
They're playing American University.
Where is
American University out of the Patriot League. I assume they're probably in New York or Washington or something.
Okay.
But
Never heard of that.
I think they're the 4 in the Patriot League.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your 16? 16.
Oh, my 16s are as follows. So I didn't separate the play-in teams because I didn't know how exactly it was going to go. I'll just do 2 and 2.
Okay.
It will be North Dakota,
Okay.
Vermont.
Okay. I got Vermont in mine.
Those are the 2 play-ins.
Uh-huh.
Then my 4 16 seeds are VCU,
Mm-hmm.
App State, St. Bona, and Longwood.
You know what St. Bona stands for?
What?
St. Bonaventure. You don't
is
know
it?
that?
No, I didn't. It says it's St. Bona then? I've never heard of the school.
St. Bonaventure.
St. Bona. St. Bona.
I don't know if they even shorten it. I think they just in writing it shortened. I don't think they say it shortened.
That's the way it was written.
All right, let's go to 15. In 15, I got Radford out of the Big South, and I got Vermont. I got them in the 15 instead of the 16, and a little thought there. And the other 15, I got Canisius.
Canisius, no.
Yeah, do you know what their mascot is? It's like a griffin.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then Moorhead is the last 15. They're the Ohio Valley Conference. That's my last 15-seat team. What's your 15s?
That took me.
What are your 15 seeds?
Sorry. My
Oh, it's so funny.
15 seeds are, excuse me, Hawaii,
Okay, they're my yeah.
Colgate,
Okay, I thought about them. They're a good team.
Norfolk State,
Okay, yeah,
and Weber
16.
State.
Weber. Are you sure it's Weber or Weber? They're 2 different schools.
1B. I think that might be Weber.
Weber, yeah, Weber State. That's where
That might be Weber.
Kurt Warner went to college.
Is it really?
Yeah, something like that.
He's pretty good at
I don't
football.
know if that's. I don't know.
You don't know if that's...
I'm pretty sure that's where he went. What was the name of the school again? All right, whatever. Then 14s. I got Princeton. I got the Ivy League school. I think they're 10-1 right now. So I mean, they're just dominating.
Princeton's
the
in
Ivy
here
League.
somewhere. I remember typing their name out.
Then I got Hawaii.
Oh, they're way higher for me.
Little flip flop. I have Hawaii at 14 instead
Okay.
of 15. UNC Wilmington out of the CAA.
I also have them in my 14
Okay,
slot.
there we go.
Yes, our first match.
Yes, Colonial Athletic Association. And then I got Montana out of the Big Sky. I assume that might be where North Dakota's at. They're probably either
Yeah,
there or
probably.
the Summit, one of the
Probably. I have UNC Wilmington,
other. Okay, there we go. So we're one for 68 right
Yep.
now.
Akron,
Okay.
Morehead State,
Okay. Oh, man, we were 1 seat off.
and Samford.
Samford, I don't think I have them in there. You start off your 13 seats.
13, I have Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Read that wrong. PFW is what they go by. Western Kentucky,
Okay.
and Mississippi State.
Gotcha. Yeah, we were close. I had Western Carolina in the 13, Louisiana Tech, Indiana State, and then New Mexico. Those are my 14s. I thought I put 2 Conference USA teams in here, which I don't know if that'll happen. Louisiana Tech being the second team.
Western Carolina, is that north or south?
I think that's in North Carolina. That makes sense.
In the mountains?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I think
Probably close to App State,
I
maybe?
think I don't know.
They're probably in the same division.
I assume that they're in 2 different conferences. I think North Carolina goes further west. So it makes sense if it was that.
West? No, South Carolina goes further west.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah. I know it's kind of. Never mind.
Maybe I'm wrong. 12. What do you got in 12?
I got Northwestern, Duke, which I kind of
Duke?
I figured they'd be a little higher.
Where do I have Duke in here?
Yeah, you don't have them at the 12?
No.
Well,
Wait, where are they?
I think they're going to fall apart a little bit. So when ACC play gets in.
I don't have them on here.
Well,
Duke does not make my list.
I'm sure.
I don't think, unless I find them
I think
later.
the initial reaction you had is you thought it would be a lot higher than
I
12,
did.
but you might not
I
even
did,
have
'cause
them.
it's
Duke, exactly. Then I got Dayton, Ohio.
I
Home
have
of,
them in here.
and then at the 12?
No.
No. And then I got Oregon. Already on the 12.
Oregon. I don't think I picked Oregon either.
You don't have Oregon or Duke there in my 12s.
No, that's crazy. 12, I have Washington,
Okay.
Grand Canyon, Utah State, and
Okay.
McNeese State.
I think I have all but McNeese in here. We were only one off on Washington.
Okay, we should be to the point where we have
should start-
everybody in our list.
Yeah,
Right?
we should be right.
Okay, so we're looking for matches here.
Yeah. We should be getting pretty close to matching
Yeah.
schools here.
Yeah.
With the 11. All right. So on the 11, I have the other two playing games. I got Washington, St. John's, Virginia Tech, and Liberty. Liberty, the other Conference USA school. Don't have any of those in the 11.
Nope.
Okay. And then
Not one.
Colorado and Creighton as the final two 11s.
I have Colorado as a 10, so it's
Oh,
close,
man.
kind of.
Surely we should be single digits. We should be getting a lot of them.
Yeah. At the 11, I have Providence.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're one away. On
One off. Villanova.
No, I
got-
have them higher.
Have them higher.
Yeah.
Virginia and Northwestern.
Virginia, yeah, I think we're like 2 away, so we might still be missing some
Okay,
at some
great.
point. All right, go ahead and do the 10s.
10s. Coming in at 10, I have Princeton, Colorado.
I'd
What?
present the 14.
Yeah, they're going to finish the season strong.
Okay,
Don't
yeah.
you worry. Princeton, Colorado, Nebraska, and Drake.
I don't think I have Nebraska or Drake on here.
On there?
Yeah.
They're top 40 teams, bro.
Well, I think conference play might play with them a little bit.
I don't think so.
My 10s, I got Kansas, little Big 12 teams: Kansas State, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and Butler.
Okay.
All in. None of those. All right. Moving on. We're into single digits now. We should be getting something here. Getting pretty close to it.
And that's not true. I have some of those on here.
Go ahead with the
I didn't
nines.
hear your question the first time.
Go ahead and do the nines.
Nines, I have Texas, Utah.
Do I have Texas on here?
You don't have Texas in your entire list?
I think I'll probably do later.
No. Texas, Utah, Ole Miss, and South Carolina.
Texas, Utah, Ole Miss. I think Texas is the one left out there. So, yeah. My 9, I got Grand Canyon. I think that's a lot higher than on yours.
I had them at 12.
Providence, which I think I like 11.
I had them at 11.
Alabama,
They're on my list.
San Diego State.
Yeah, I have them
Okay,
at
my
a
bracket,
couple higher.
my bracket might be. the
Yeah,
one
my
that's
bracket
on the
might
low.
also be pretty bad. At 8,
We'll save this. We'll get
We're doing-
when we get 2/3 of the way in. We'll see.
yeah,
how
that's
right we've
true.
been.
Yeah, we'll have to come back in a month or so.
Yeah.
Month and a month. Yeah, a month.
Yeah.
It's just a month
It'll be the end of January.
Yeah.
And then you got March Madness.
after February.
Yeah. Also, doesn't
February.
March
short.
Madness always it actually it doesn't really get into going to April.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
last 2 rounds are in April.
Yeah. At 8, I have Nevada.
Let's go. We got another one. That's 2.
Oh, were you reading? I thought you were still reading 9s.
No, you said 8s.
I'm reading 8s.
Yeah.
Have you already read your 8s?
Yeah. No. I haven't.
Okay.
But we both have Nevada.
Yes, at 8.
Yeah.
8.
Yes.
At 8, I have Nevada,
Yes.
Indiana State,
No.
New Mexico,
I already said them.
and San Diego State.
Yeah. See, I had all those.
We were-
I had
we were
all
like-
them lower.
We were flip flop.
Yeah. But we had Nevada. That's 2. We're 2. We got 2 of 68.
2 for a lot.
Moving into 7s. Got to be matching pretty close here. I have Kentucky, which I don't know if you said them yet. Have you even said them yet?
No.
Okay. Utah, which you have said.
I have Kentucky a lot higher.
Yeah.
Conference play is what I was taking into account there.
Yeah, of course, because you have Utah and South Carolina earlier, and then I
Yeah.
have Miami as well.
At 7.
Yeah.
At 7, I have James Madison,
Oh, yep, one off on them.
Iowa State,
Okay.
Baylor, and Alabama.
Yeah, I have Baylor pretty high. Let's go in the 6s. I got Ohio State, Texas A&M. Let's go.
Let's go.
3.
3 of them.
3 of them so far. Wisconsin,
Nope.
Gonzaga.
I do have Gonzaga at 6.
Oh, we're hitting our stride.
Here we go.
I thought looking at it, you haven't said any of those, so we got to be
Yeah, we have to be
close.
somewhere close.
So we got 4.
But also, the top 6 seedings are pretty set.
Yeah.
Like,
We know
where those teams sit.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Your 6s.
My 6 is Gonzaga, Dayton, Texas A&M, and Duke.
Okay. Whoa, I had 12. Yeah.
It wasn't capitalized, so I wasn't seeing the D.
Yeah. Then moving to 5s, I have Virginia. I think you already said.
Yeah, I've already said them.
Colorado State.
Let's go.
That's 5. Florida.
Nope.
Do you have them in it at all? Come on,
I
I'm
don't
at
have
5.
Florida on the list.
What in the world? And Ole Miss, who you already said.
Yeah. At 5, I have Auburn, BYU, Colorado State, and Creighton.
I have. What was the second, third?
BYU.
Yeah, I'm pretty high. So we're at 6. Or no, we're at 5. 5. We've gotten 5 right. We're on the 4 seeds.
We're on to the 4
In the 4s, I got FAU,
Nope.
Baylor,
Nope.
Clemson,
Nope.
and Memphis.
Nope.
Oh, you have Memphis 1 higher? 2 higher? Okay. All right.
At the 4, I have Tennessee. I don't know how high you have them.
I have up 1.
Okay. Tennessee, OSU, Wisconsin, and Marquette.
Marquette. Okay. Yeah, I'm have 1 more. Your 3s.
My 3s are Illinois, Oklahoma, Kentucky,
Yeah.
and North Carolina.
North Carolina. There we go. That's 6. So we have 7 through the last 2 seeds. We're at the final seed.
Yeah, well, I had Memphis. You didn't let me ever say 2. So
Okay.
I had Memphis, UConn, FAU, and Clemson.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we have at least 3, I think, left. I'm not sure. I'm not looking at yours, and your font's a lot smaller than mine. But we need 3. I think we have at least 2.
I cannot believe that you put one of mine. Where do I even have them?
Which ones?
Oh, never mind. Okay.
No, there was a couple that were.
One of my 3s is one of your 1s.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's not that high.
No.
There were a couple that were.
We had a
very
6 and a
down
12.
Lower. Yeah, down lower was worse somehow.
We have a couple. I think I had a 12 or 13 that we didn't even have on the board.
Yeah.
So, or no, we had like a 10 for me. I didn't have on the
Yeah,
board.
you had Florida in there.
Oh yeah, I had Florida.
5.
I had
5?
5.
Was it
yeah.
5?
Yeah, they're as good as Colorado State. Come on, what are you talking about?
You're delusional.
Whatever. So we're at 7. We're in the final 4.
Yeah.
I got Oklahoma. We have it like the 3.
Nope.
Arizona.
Yep.
That's 8. Houston
Yep.
is 9, and then Purdue.
And Purdue.
10. We got 10.
Let's go.
You didn't believe. So I had Oklahoma. Who is the other one you didn't have?
I had Kansas.
Kansas. I have them at 2, but you
We
have
switched Oklahoma and Kansas.
yeah.
Kind of,
And then I took Oklahoma, and then
and dropped them with somebody else.
I don't think any of these. I think you had the Houston in the 2, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So
No, I have Houston as 1.
what? No, you had Kansas as 1.
I have Kansas and Houston. as
Oh,
one.
I
You have
Houston
Houston
in
as
twice. No, I have them as a 1 and a 3.
Oh.
I put Houston in here twice. So
Our whole thing's messed up.
not our whole thing. Let's go ahead.
Oh, no.
Let's go out on a limb and say we wouldn't have matched one more time.
Arizona, Purdue, Houston, and Kansas.
So,
Idiot,
yeah.
you put it on there twice.
Well, Oh well.
All right.
Well, that's the end of episode 9, Cody Porter Sports Show, with my first ever guest, Sam Chester,
Thanks
and
for having me.
Baker Mayfield.
And Baker Mayfield.
We'll see you next week after. Well, I will for sure. After the semifinal game, and we'll find out what happens in the national championship. Until next time, see ya.